questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to waive on this committee, and thank y'all for being here, and thank you for the interim report that was released this morning about PBMs and the impact they have on independent pharmacies. I believe that's the focus of the report, and I appreciate it. I became a member of Congress 9.5 years ago. The first thing I did when I got here was to go to the FTC and ask them to look at the vertical integration that exists within the drug pricing chain. 2 years ago, you did that, and I want to thank y'all for that. Now, Chair Khan, can you share very quickly what the FTC has discovered with these PBMs practices and their impact on pharmacies, on doctors, on patients, on payers?
Thanks, Congressman, and thanks so much for all of your encouragement and support of the FTC as we've endeavored to scrutinize what, as you know, is an extremely opaque part of the market. So the report lays out that there's been a continued trend of vertical integration as well as horizontal concentration, that the handful of larger PBMs have increased their share of the prescription drug market. We lay out in the report a lot of the concerns we've heard from independent pharmacies, which range from chronic under-reimbursement to steering, to arbitrary auditing, to all sorts of practices that I think at the end of the day to pharmacists make them feel like they can't get a fair shake. I mean, what I often hear from community pharmacists is they're serving their communities depend on them, but their ability to survive on the marketplace is subject to the whims of these actors that they increasingly find themselves competing with.
And is it true, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but is it true that we're losing about one pharmacy every day now? We're on pace this year to lose one independent pharmacy every day.
Yeah, we lay out in the report what some of those declines have looked like.
And I might point out that, you know, whether you're Republican, a Democrat, or independent, we all want the same thing. We want accessible, affordable, quality health care. Pharmacists are the most accessible health care professionals in America. If one pharmacy every day is closing, accessibility to health care is going to be impacted. Mr. Badoa, earlier we were talking about steering. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but did I understand you to say that there were some instances where steering was beneficial? Can you?
No, sir. I was responding to the part of the question that was a broad question: is vertical integration good in healthcare? And I said certainly in some instances it has been. I used to be part of a vertically integrated healthcare provider. I like that, right? I did not say, I'm not aware of instances of steering that I have found beneficial, although obviously I haven't studied this as much carefully as.
Chair Khan, have you seen instances of steering, of patient steering?
So the report does lay out instances where we've seen that. There's also been research suggesting that not only is this steering happening, but this steering is actually inflating drug prices and drug costs. And, 2 decades ago, there was a view that this vertical integration could actually lower costs of drugs and healthcare overall. And I think 2 decades on, we're having to take a clear look and try to see, was that assumption accurate, or have things actually become more expensive through some of these conflicts of interest?
And just for the record, in this committee, in the Energy and Commerce Committee, we have had a member meeting with the CBO, and I've asked them, not only just in pharmacy, but in healthcare in general, give me one example of where consolidation in healthcare has saved money. And they have not been able to give me one yet. I think that speaks for itself. Commissioner Holyoke, I wanted to ask you, I know that you and I have spoken, and I just want to ask you, are you supportive of the FTC 6B study into the inquiry into the PBMs?
Absolutely, but I am supportive of a comprehensive study. I don't believe that this report, it does a adequate job of comprehensively looking at the industry, of understanding the competitive markets here and all of the players in that system. I don't think it does an adequate job at all looking at it doesn't do any job at looking at the economics.
So you voted against the release of the study?
Correct.
But I want to make sure we all understand that you're not in favor of PBMs and you're not saying, I'll let you explain.
I'll
let you explain your vote.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll step back for a second and talk about when I was Solicitor General in Utah, I was in favor of a lawsuit that we brought against PBMs because I was very concerned. We were concerned about some of their practices and their pricing, and particularly whether they were, in that instance, whether they were misrepresenting prices and savings to payers. And so I think I'm very supportive of a study that actually looks at the business model, that uncovers what is happening here, that can shed some light into some of these practices.
Again, and I'm running out of time, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I just want to make sure we understand that your vote in no way indicates that you think that PBMs are helping the healthcare system.
My vote is because I don't think that this study is accurate. I
Okay.
am committed to a full, comprehensive study of PBMs.
Right.
And so that we can fully, objectively evaluate this industry and understand their business models. And without that, without a comprehensive study, we can't take any.
Okay. Well, I don't want us to let perfect get in the way of very good, and I want to thank you for this. And this is the interim report. The final report hopefully will be forthcoming, and I hope that we can get a more comprehensive, if you will, report. I cannot stress to you how important this, folks. I was a pharmacist for 40 years. I'm the one who had to go to the counter and tell the patient how much the medication was. I'm the one who had to do that. People can't afford their medications. They're getting ripped off. This has got to be busted up. No insurance company should own a PBM. No PBM should own a pharmacy. Period.
I share your concerns, Congressman, with better understanding this, and
Okay.
I am fully committed to ensuring that the commission continues its work here and provides a fully comprehensive study.
Chair Khan, any?
I would just say, Congressman, to the extent that you have concerns about vertical integration, I mean, that's something that antitrust enforcers may be able to address through litigation, but it takes a long time. And bills that are clearly, decoupling in those ways could be the most efficient way to potentially.
And I agree, we got a big role to play in Congress, but when you say it takes time, one pharmacy every day is closing. Accessibility to health care is decreasing in this country.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There is enormous urgency here, and that's why we thought better to provide the public with the information we have already today,
Okay.
rather than,
And
as
I-
you said, let the perfect be the enemy of the
I apologize, Mr. Chair.
No,
Thank you
hey,
very
listen,
much.
just
I yield back.
don't forget that I gave you that extra time.
I won't.
All right, appreciate it. You'll pay me back one day. All right,